If you are thinking of moving to Vancouver, you need to watch this video first because I'm going to give you 12 reasons as to why you should not be calling Vancouver home. Hi, my name is Kyle Mark from the Kyle Mark Real Estate Group, powered by eXp Realty, and I am here and excited to go through this list of 12 reasons why you should pick a different city and not move to the place that I call home. But before we get into those 12 reasons, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. As always, all my information is down below, and if you are wanting to get into the real estate market within Vancouver, whether you're buying or selling or have any questions, book a call with me. The information's below. Shoot me a text or a DM. I'm super easy to get a hold of, and I am here to help. So let's get into the number one reason as to why you should not call Vancouver your new place to live. The first reason obviously is home affordability. If you have been planning a move to Vancouver without checking how expensive it is to live here, you are going to be in for a world of hurt. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it is absolutely ridiculously expensive to live here. It's one of the most expensive cities. So Vancouver is split into two areas, Vancouver East and Vancouver West. The east side of Vancouver is a little bit cheaper than the west, but a detached home that is livable but that still needs some work will cost you on average just under $1.9 million, as opposed to the west side where an average home there is just under $3.5 million. If you're looking for condos between the east side to the west side, you're looking at a range of between $700,000 to $800,000, and that's likely just going to get you a one-bedroom apartment. Townhomes on average on the east side, $1.1 million, where on the west side it could get up to $1.4 million on average for a price point in that townhouse market. If you look at renting in those areas, you're not going to get much more relief. Across Vancouver for a one-bedroom apartment, you're looking at around $2,500 a month. Getting up into a two-bedroom apartment, you're going to be in that $3,500 a month, and north of that, depending on what your style and what exactly you're looking for. So the number one reason why you should not move to Vancouver is its unaffordability within the city. The second reason as to why you should not move to Vancouver is its weather. We all know that Vancouver is extremely beautiful, is one of the most scenic cities in the entire world, but we get that scenery due to the fact of how much it rains here. When we get into the months of October, November, essentially you are in the gray, gloomy time until April of May of next year, where you're going to be in constant rain and some snowfall. So if you need that vitamin D, Vancouver is not going to be the place for you because you're only going to have it for such a short amount of time. But because of that short amount of time, summers in Vancouver are better than pretty much anywhere else on this planet. Where else can you snowboard and then head to the beach in the same day in the spring? But keep in mind, for those who live here in Vancouver, they earn that due to the fact that they're living through 8 or 9 months of gray weather and rain. The third reason is the limited employment options. The workforce here in Vancouver is quite oversaturated. We are a world-class city, but we are still quite small and up and coming and growing. The tech sector is starting to be built up, but when you look at the average median wage in terms of salaries in Vancouver, it is quite low, especially when you compare it to places like San Francisco or New York, who have similar housing costs, but their salaries and their median wages are much, much higher than they are here in Vancouver. So unless you have a job lined up, it can be difficult to find yourself a good paying job here in Vancouver. The fourth reason is the heavy traffic congestion. Vancouver has not been laid out with its infrastructure properly. We are ages and decades behind some of these world-class cities in terms of public transportation. There are log jams, bottlenecks, all throughout the city. Parking can be a huge problem as well because the city council in Vancouver has taken out many lanes throughout downtown Vancouver for bike lanes and are trying to encourage people to go car free to help with the congestion, but there's still such an influx of people moving here and there hasn't been a lot of good pre-planning for that. Number 5 is the lack of affordable housing. As we mentioned with point number 1, how unaffordable Vancouver is to buy and to rent. If you're looking for assisted living, things of that nature, there are also not a lot of options, as the city of Vancouver as well as the province have done nothing to help with affordable living and have put the onus actually on homeowners to try to prepare more rental stock, but they have completely failed everyone who lives in Vancouver and who wants to live in Vancouver. Number 6 are the low salaries here in Vancouver. I know we touched on it with the lack of employment options and the oversaturated job market, but because of that oversaturation, and as we dive into the actual numbers here, the average salary in Vancouver is between $50,000 to $72,000, which is not near enough for someone to survive here here in Vancouver. Number 7 are the high taxes. Whether you're looking to purchase goods or getting taxed on your own income, Vancouver is not a friendly place for that. You're looking at a 12% sales tax on most goods, as well as very high income tax numbers as well. Within Canada, you will be paying income tax to the federal government, and then British Columbia also has its set numbers in terms of how much you make and what you get taxed on, but it is not a very friendly place in terms of how the government wants to tax you. Not to mention, we have these massive carbon taxes that the federal government puts on fuel here that you'll notice not only in Vancouver but across Canada. But Canada is a very highly taxed place, and Vancouver is no exception to that. Number 8 is the isolation from other cities. We are on the west coast of Canada, on its furthest reach on the mainland here, so that does make it hard for you to connect to other major cities. If you're in business, you have time zones to contend with, as well as long travel times as well. Number 9 is the poor transportation system. If you're in and around the downtown core, you can get around Vancouver pretty easily, but as you start to stretch out past that, it becomes very challenging. Not to mention, the public transportation rates for payment is extremely expensive. If you're wanting to use the C bus, if you're wanting to use the West Coast Express, there are several options, but they are not cheap. The 10th reason is cultural conflicts. Vancouver is a beautiful city, not only due to the fact that we have all this nature, but we have such a melting pot of cultural backgrounds, which makes Vancouver so beautiful, something that I've loved to experience since I've been living here. But because of that, there has also been some cultural conflicts. When you bring that many people together, there can be problems within that. We've seen coming out of COVID a lot of racially based attacks on the Asian community, as well as some other ethnic groups as well. So because of that, you want to make sure that depending on where you're wanting to live, where you're wanting to visit, that you're just aware of your surroundings, of what you're doing as well, because even though Vancouver is so beautiful, there has been some challenging issues in terms of diversity and cultural backlash. Number 11 is challenges with immigration. Due to the fact that there are a number of obstacles within Vancouver itself, with house affordability, getting around with public transit, trying to find a job, an immigrant who's looking for an exciting opportunity can find it difficult at times coming here, making a way for yourself. So if you are coming here and wanting to immigrate to this great country and to this great city, make sure that you connect with your local community, that you have a sponsor or someone of a mentorship and a group here, just to make sure that you have a proper home base so you don't feel neglected and you don't feel isolated. The 12th and final reason why you shouldn't move to Vancouver is the lack of community. You hear it from so many people who live here that it is hard to make friends and it's hard to find a community. And I think part of that reason is due to the fact that there are barely any true Vancouverites that live here anymore due to the house affordability issue, that you have all these people from different backgrounds, from different areas, who tend to keep to themselves or tend to keep in their small little circles. COVID hasn't helped that. Working from home, people aren't making connections within the office or going out as much. So there is a reputation of Vancouver being a cold place and a hard place to find community. So there you have it, folks. 12 reasons why you should not move to Vancouver. Like I said, I do live here. I love it here. I would not live anywhere else, but I did want to give you all an honest review of what it's like living in Vancouver and what it could be like if you wanted to relocate. My name is Kyle Mark with the Kyle Mark Real Estate Group. If you're wanting to relocate here, I am your Vancouver realtor. I can help you get into the market. I can help you sell within this market. All my information is below, so please book a call with me or shoot a DM. I would love to connect with you. Stay safe and have a wonderful rest of your week.